2 years ago today, WikiLeaks released Cablegate. Let's go to RT's Adriana Ucero to explain. Hey there, Adriana.
Hey,
let's
Christine.
break down. I mean, we have certainly learned so much from this website.
I mean, we have, and as you just said before, Cablegate, as it's commonly known, did shed some light on some information that some governments all over the world would have rather kept in the dark. So we here at RT decided to put together a list of some information you might not have figured out had it not been for WikiLeaks. So take a look. Number 10, corruption in Egypt. One of the first and major revelations came as no surprise to many international observers. Systemic corruption was a mainstay in the Mubarak regime. The government routinely took selective actions against journalists and bloggers who held negative opinions of Mubarak. Cables also uncovered the strained relationship between the U.S. and Egypt. Number 9, Syriagate. One of the latest WikiLeaks releases featured documents relating to Syria. Among the revelations were ties between Italian industrial giant Finmeccanica, which supplied $50 million in interception-proof communications used by military police. Number 8, Palestine willing to play ball. In an attempt to streamline the peace process, WikiLeaks cables revealed just how much the Palestinian Authority was willing to concede. Surprisingly, the Palestinian Authority was willing to give up land in exchange for an end to further settlement building. The revelation angered some Palestinian hardliners, but ultimately showed Israel's all-or-nothing attitude at the negotiating table. Embassy? What embassy? Julian Assange has been in the Ecuadorian embassy for nearly 6 months in London. This despite being granted asylum in Ecuador. The British response to the asylum? A threat to overrun the embassy and forcibly take Assange. While their rhetoric has cooled down, the confrontation demonstrated something about the British mindset. Despite international law not being at their side, authorities in the UK don't really value embassy rights. Number 6, violence in Mexico. The war on drugs has long been a difficult problem to tackle, especially because cartels in Mexico have a foothold among police, army, and the Mexican government. WikiLeaks released a U.S. cable concerned that narco money and firepower would play an outsized role in the 2009 municipal, gubernatorial, and state elections in Mexico. For the first time, the Mexican people saw the U.S.'s critical judgment of its leaders and their corruption. And the cables ultimately influenced the election. Number 5, Guantanamo. President Obama has yet to keep his promise to close Guantanamo Bay. And WikiLeaks revealed that most of the so-called dangerous criminals imprisoned are low-level foot soldiers or altogether innocent Afghans and Pakistanis found in the wrong place at the wrong time. Number 4, concerns over Karzai. The war in Afghanistan continues to rage on, and while the U.S. continues negotiations with Afghan officials over troop presence post-2014, it wasn't that long ago that the U.S. was expressing concern over the country's leader, President Hamid Karzai, calling him, quote, a paranoid and weak individual unfamiliar with the basics of nation building. No word yet on whether popular opinion has changed among U.S. officials. Number 3, GMOs across the globe. The battle over genetically modified foods has been at the ballot box in the U.S., but most voters didn't know that the U.S. Embassy in Paris suggested back in 2007 that D.C. start a trade war with European Union countries that did not support the use of genetically modified crops. Cables also showed that U.S. diplomats regretted that the Pope, who allegedly supported the use of GM crops, had not made his opinion public. And number 2, spies like us. It's never too late to become a spy. That's what several U.S. diplomats found out when under instruction by the State Department to collect information on key officials. This included everything from basic contact information like business cards and cell phone numbers to credit cards and even fingerprints. And number 1, collateral murder. By now, you've probably seen this video of a U.S. Apache helicopter shooting at Iraqis like they're in a video game, without concern that they're shooting at international journalists. This video put WikiLeaks on the map and showed the real face of war. Apathetic teens unaware that they're shooting at real people. Well, there you have it, Christine. A couple of things you might have not known had it not been for WikiLeaks. So back to you.
All right, pretty significant things, part of what will no doubt become important in history when we look back. Thanks, RT producer Adriana Ucero.